Hello everyone. So by this time, those who are following me are already aware that I am creating an AI engineering course. So in the first session, we covered why this course exists and who is it for. In the next session, we have started with basics with LLM orchestration. So we made direct calls to OpenAI, Anthropic and Gemini APIs. In the next session, we covered and we developed a basic AI agent in which we have introduced the tool and we also learned how we can leverage the tool schema. So, but there is just one LLM call. There was no loop. In the next session, we have introduced the agentic loop in the session 4. And basically we introduce we give LLM more agency, more autonomy so that it can call tools in a loop until the user objective it is met. And in the session 5, we have hardened the program which we have developed for the production. So we introduce some new concepts like retry with exponential backoff, max iteration guard, wall clock timeout, cost tracking, and input validations. So far, so good. Our program were working fine, but there was a one problem. So far, the programs which we have developed runs only on the terminal, which is fine for the learning purpose. But we know nobody shifts the terminal app to the end users. So in this session, we are going to fix that. We are going to introduce browser-based chat interface to our program. And important thing to note here is we are not going to touch our logic. So our agentic loop, tool schema, or any concepts we have introduced to make our program reliable, nothing is going to change. We are just adding a UI layer on top of that. So yes, let's start. So let's see the problem statement once more. As mentioned earlier, our puzzle agent, which we have developed previously, it was perfectly fine, but it runs on the terminal window. And real user expect the chat interface. So we need to convert our reliable agent that we have developed in the previous session to the Streamlit web app without changing any of agentic logic. In the terminal program, we have used the input for the user input. We have used the print for the output. There was a while loop to get user input continuously and global variables for the state. But in Streamlit, we will change that. So we will have the Streamlit chat input for the user input. You will soon see like how we have used all this and chat message for the output. And instead of while true loop, which we have used, we will be using the Streamlit event loop. So let me quickly show you. So if you see here, this is in the main program, the last program which we have developed. There is a while loop to get the input. We will replace all this. In fact, this whole main method will be replaced. And another important bit to note is we will be using session state object for maintaining state. So some of the key concepts which will make the Streamlit work properly. There is a rerun model. The Streamlit reruns the entire script top to bottom every user action. So if you will type anything on the chat interface and click enter, so variables got reset unless they are stored in the session state. And that is why the session state object is very much critical. It is a dictionary that can persist across the reruns. So it replaces global variables, message list, and use puzzle set. So then there is a chat message. As we mentioned, this is for the output. It renders the chat bubble and all things we will soon see how it all works. str chat input, as we know, this is for the collection or this is for the user input to get the input from the user. And then there is an agent loop, right? Agent loop will not get changed. So now let's quickly move to the demo of Streamlit. And after that, so that you can get some of the fundamentals around Streamlit. And after that, we can move to our program, the reliable agent program, which we have created in the previous session, and we will give it the chat interface. So as you see, so this is the new program I have created to give the short demo of the Streamlit. So if you see here, we will first import the Streamlit Python library and give it an alias st. We write the print statement, and here are the few important bits. We initialize the count attribute of the session state, but only if it is not already present in the session state. So we initialize it. Similarly for the messages. So if you see, if you recall from our previous program, let me quickly show. So if you see here, we are using the messages list. Here also we have to use similar list, but we will initialize it because Streamlit runs multiple times as soon as user is typing and entering something. The way to do that, to initialize it, we have to use this statement. If message is not in session state object, if it is not already an attribute of session state object, only then you initialize it. And then you increase the count, right? You increase the count here and write it here that the script has run. Suppose that it is for the first time, then script has run for the first time. If you type something else and then enter, then this count will persist and it will show that it has run twice or thrice or 3, 4 times. We will soon see how it is displaying this particular count. And then the user input, if the user input is there, then we first append it to the session state message list, and then we render all the messages in the end. Let's quickly see how it is working. We will go to the terminal, and to run the Streamlit, we have a special way. We will write Streamlit run and give the program name in the end. So it is demo Streamlit.py. The Streamlit will open the browser session. You see that it has started giving me that script has run one time. And then now let me quickly type something. Hello. So it is showing me that it has run twice. And let me type, how are you? Right. So it is now continuously increasing. The thing to see it here that the count is persisting. Similarly, the messages which I am entering, it is persisting. So on every run, it is not happening that the previous messages or the previous count is disappeared. So this is the key concept. Now we will move to our actual program and we will give it chat interface, browser-based chat interface. Now this is our old program, right? We will make changes to this program. If you have not gone to this program, I highly recommend visit my previous program at least and see like how this program actually works. So we will just copy it for now. And here we will create our new file. Let's give it a new name, Streamlit agent.py. We will just copy it and we will make the changes so that you understand what are the changes which are required to give it browser interface or chat interface. The first thing to do here is we have to import the Streamlit as st. We will just add that import Streamlit as st. This is the first change which we'll make. Another thing to note is we have already created our environment variable file .env and added the Openai API key so that our program can work properly. Now this is the first thing. Another thing now important changes that we cannot use our state variable use puzzles. So in our program we are basically user can ask for the puzzles and we are keeping track like which puzzles have already been used. So we will just remove this. This is the first thing we will remove that. And instead of used puzzles here, we will add it this as a attribute of session state object. So how we will do that? So let's see like where this session state, where this used puzzle set is used. If you see here, we will just type it here. If you remember, it is used at two places, but let me show you. So this is the first place it is used puzzles. So we will replace it with this line, right? So session state, use puzzles. Similarly, the next place it is used is, we will just type it here, where the next place. So it is used as a global use puzzles. Yes, so we will remove that global puzzles. The second place where it is used is this, and then again we will do the similar thing. Instead of just directly using the use puzzle, we will use the session state use variable to add the puzzles which are already requested here. So these are some of the changes. We will store it here. The main changes regarding the state is done. Now we will introduce the Streamlit. And as if you recall, we have to replace the main method. And instead of that, we will use the Streamlit. Let's see how. So these are the some lines which are required now to run the Streamlit. So first of all, we will give the Streamlit UI a title, which you see here we have given the title. Now, as we have discussed previously, if the message is not in the session state, we are adding the message, and in the messages, we are just adding the system prompt, right? So if you have seen previously in our reliable agent program, we are initializing the messages, right? We are adding the system prompt in the beginning. The same thing we are doing it here. So instead of that, we are using the session state.messages, initialize it with system prompt. Similarly, if use puzzle is not there, we are setting it here. You see here that the set is initialized once, but within the place where the Streamlit runs. Similarly, there is a new variable we have introduced here or new list we have introduced here called the chat history, and we are initializing it here. Why we have done that? Because earlier we were just content with the messages because messages were used for the LLM purpose. We do not need to show any of this message to the end user. But now we have a browser-based chat interface. We have to show what user is entering. So suppose the user is typing, we have to show it on the interface what he has typed, what he or she has typed. So this is why this messages, some part of this messages will be going to the chat history. This is the new list we have introduced, and it will contain only the user messages. So you will soon see how. So now next thing is user input. We are capturing the user input. We have captured that. And if it is there, then we are appending it to the chat history object. The new list which we have introduced, we are adding the user input to this list. And then we are printing it. So let's quickly first run the demo so that you can understand what we are doing it here. This way we will test it also it is working or not. So again, the way to run the Streamlit program is writing Streamlit run and it will open the browser. I think we have got some error. Okay, so there were two errors. One, I have added list here. So instead of Streamlit, so we have changed that. And at line number this 79, if you see here, there was an extra space. So we have changed that. Let's run it again and see how whether it works properly or not. Web interface has been loaded properly. This was the title which we had given. Now let's ask for the puzzle. You see here that it has first given me the puzzle and then it is thinking and okay, so it has timed out and I think I know the reason, but it has given me the response, right? So let's quickly correct that first. I think we have kept the timeout very short here. Agentic loop does not run infinitely. We set the time. We set the timeout second. We give it 5 seconds. Let's give it 10 seconds for now. 10. And there is one more change, which is basically validate puzzle. So we have deliberately set the validate puzzle score between 3 and 6. And we are checking if it is below the 7, then it should fail it. Then it should not return the puzzle. So this will always fail. So in order to fix that, let's quickly make it between 7 and 9, let's say. And now let's run our program once more. One more change I think it is required. Instead of minimum threshold, we write above minimum threshold to give the proper message to the LLM. Now let's quickly run it once more. Oh yes, our chat interface has been loaded properly. Let's ask for the puzzle. Give me a puzzle. It is thinking. And here it has given me the puzzle. So now quickly return to the program. And now you see here, like, how the Streamlit interface is working. It's a very nice interface. And now quickly return to our program. So if you see here, the other changes like this, we have made changes into the validate puzzle method so that it always passes as of now. And it is necessary to make it run. And then we have our other tools, which are this get available function. We have not made any change except making change in the use puzzle, adding it as a attribute of session state. Similarly, for the get puzzle, we have added attribute of session state. So this is all done. I mean, we have not made changes. We have not done any changes in any other portion. And finally, no changes in the agentic loop also. We were here. So we were explaining you, we have introduced you new variable chat history. So this chat history is basically something which is displayed here. So what user has asked, how the agent has responded, all these details are stored in the chat history. And why we have not used the messages? Because messages contains everything. So if you see this document, messages not only content role is equal to assistant, role is equal to user, it can also contain role is equal to tool and all these details which we do not want to display to the end user. And that's why we separated it out. So we are getting the user input here and then we are adding the user, whatever the user has asked to the chat history, whatever is present in the chat history, we are displaying. When I first ask the question, let me ask another question, give me another puzzle. So this part, now it is still thinking, but this part basically coming from here. It is immediately showing me the question the user has asked. If I have not written it here, then what will happen? Whatever the user has asked, as till the agent has not thought about and give the response, nothing will be displayed to the user. So in order to prevent that scenario, to give user something there, we are just immediately showing him what he has asked, and then here this lines basically checking like if the chat history exists or not. And the previous question is, and the previous thing in the chat history is role is equal to user. So if the user has asked anything, then it gives me this bubble, this chat message. This is how we render output. If I ask another, give me another puzzle. So yeah, this portion, right? It gives me this bubble, and this is showing me this thinking. This is coming from here, and then the agentic loop which we have written previously, it ran whatever the question user has asked, the message is present, we pass to the agent loop, we get the response back, and then whatever response we get, we add the role is equal to assistant, the same thing we add. Rerun this. What is happening here? It will run all these things again. This thing will not be initialized because message is not empty, use message, puzzle is not empty, chat history is not empty, and user has not any asked anything, so this will be blank. So again, this thing will not run. This thing, this thing will not run. But for message in chat history, like this one, this part will run again, and it will print me everything again, right? Everything which is there in the chat history, this will be run again. And this part will not run. Why it will not run? Because the last thing in the chat history, there the rule is equal to assistant because agent has given the response. So this portion will also not run and it will not rerun again. So this is the whole concept of Streamlit, and this is how we have made our program. And we have given it the wings. We have given it the browser-based chat interface. So I hope you understand this basic concept because we will use the same in now from now onwards. We will be using this browser-based chat interface instead of terminal to make our programs. The next session is going to be very much interesting as we are introducing OpenAI SDK, which is agentic framework available to us, and you will see that how it will make our program so much easy. It has certain concepts like guardrails. It has concepts like you will see like we don't need to write the agentic loops and all. So it will make our programs pretty much easy to read and easy to write. So see you soon. Till then, I will wait for your comments and questions. Thanks again.